Well, I'm back at the DED HQ, although it won't be that name for much longer, with Mark Lewin, who's of course been running this venture for some time now, and also the Minister. Mr. Lewin, you were asked to look at a review, and this is the piece of paper, the booklet, which is far-reaching. And we haven't had time to obviously even have a skim through as much, but you did give us some sort of the bigger items then in there. So the chances are I'm going to miss something, but we can come back to it. What's the headline for you? What have you found out that you need to change?
I think to start with, the 6 recommendations. The first one quite clearly says, the department has a really important role to play. It's staying. I know there's been various different kind of questions around that. A huge amount of great things that the department's been doing, does, and its people, committed people do every day.
Let's just get what are you going to change?
Number 2, there needs to be a much stronger focus on our economic strategy and policy, all the foundations and creating that environment that enables our economy to flourish. Somehow we need to find a much stronger way of doing that, and we talk in the way forward in terms of using private sector capabilities. So an economic advisory board, a think tank, comes from across sector to do that, and a new strategy and policy function. And
a new name, that's what I was alluding to at the beginning.
Well, the third bit is about, again, leveraging that private sector expertise to create development agencies.
Right.
So executive agencies.
Enterprise.
So the Department for Enterprise is a refocus of...
That sounds slightly better than DED. I think most people will agree on that one. Nothing else, the acronym sounds better. Really a name change, but you got to have... I mean, you said refocusing. Are you losing stuff, though? I mean,
there are some functions that will move to other departments.
Like?
Things that will add value in other places.
Like?
So in there we talk about the Villa-Marina Gaiety Theatre, going to the Department of Education and Children, has a much more natural affinity in there.
Okay.
We talk about training services, again, in terms of adult training, going to the Department of Education and Children. Our employment services, so the Job Centre, has a strong link with Treasury, and in terms of our welfare reform, so moving to Treasury, social security. Our energy policy moving to Department of Environment, Food and Agriculture, and mining and minerals going to Department of Infrastructure. So there's quite a bit of things that will move from this department out, where they can see more natural value in other areas.
And you're gaining things, creating new sort of areas you're dealing with there.
A focus on using private sector expertise. So the 4 development agencies, one around financial services, one around our digital economy, one around our broader business environment, so our traditional industries, and one around our visitor economy. So those 4 principal agencies will be new.
Okay. Now, you obviously had input on this. How does it work? Did you just come up with it, and then it went to you? You went, this is what I want to do, and you went yes or no, or what sort of?
No. There's been very wide engagement with a host of different stakeholders. One of the things that we did, Paul, was that we actually had a review looking at other jurisdictions. So we reviewed other jurisdictions independently, and they all pointed to one particular direction, and that was the creation of business development agencies. So these are what would be regarded as external agencies in many people's eyes, but we see them as a joint partnership between public and private sector. So we have our economy is growing. It has been for 34 years. We've got phenomenal expertise within our private sector. How do we leverage that better? And the creation of executive agencies, which is really a partnership where we can actually leverage that interest, that expertise, that knowledge to work on product development, promotion and policy input, because the core function for the department should be around strategy and policy, and that's what we're hoping to do here with these changes. There's quite a few changes going on here, and it will take a number of months to actually implement that. What we will do is have the department focus on strategy and policy and have executive agencies in the development area.
How does it all work now? Does it have to go to Tynwald for approval, or is it just something you do in Council of Ministers to have a name change and do that sort of things to people?
No, it's basically a relaunch and a refocus, and it will be done internally. There is no need for Tynwald approval, but we have consulted widely politically as well as obviously key stakeholders in industry.
Are you gaining staff or losing staff with this whole mix?
The department will reduce in size. It will come down by about a quarter from where it is today.
That's quite a hefty
through some of those moves.
But other places will gain, right? So will the headcount stay the same-ish?
In terms of a broader government perspective, one of the things I say quite clearly, there are no compulsory redundancies as part of this. Some people's roles will change. We have a number of contract positions as well, and undoubtedly, as you move more to an agency model, and some of that work
Oh,
will sit.
I've heard some contract positions are going. Some of these great numbers, you're paying people on figures who just have a 2-3 year contract. They're going?
Yeah, what they'll do, Paul, they'll migrate into what will be private sector roles.
Yeah.
And this is where the business development agencies really come into being. And this is why it will take a period for us to actually do that. And we're hoping we can do that in these next few months over the summer. That's why we're announcing this now.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken 6 months to reach this particular point. And as you can see, this document is quite detailed that we'll leave you with there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research, a lot of input with a wide cross-section of stakeholders that tell us this is the direction we should actually go.
Okay. Well, lots to talk about there, so we'll have a part 2 of this.